Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video we'll be learning how to create website UI design. So we'll be learning how to leverage on Chat GPT to come up with style guide, how to create visual positioning and also spacing. So you will be learning most of my tips and tricks on how I come up with sleek UI designs for websites. We're also going to be creating our color and our text style. So this design we're looking at, we'll be starting with this. So I got this design from Dribble. So it was designed by a guy named Alex. Thank you so much, Alex, for designing this. So we're basically going to be recreating something like this, something similar. So it might not really be exactly the same because the images are going to change, even the font style I'm going to use might likely change. So let's dive into the video. So whenever I want to design my website UI design, so the first thing I do is to create a frame. So for me to create a frame, I'll come over here and select frame, and I'm going to be using the desktop frame, which is 1440 by 1024. So you might likely want to use another frame size, another desktop size, because we have another desktop size which is 1920. That is kind of bigger than this. So as you can see here, we have MacBook 14 and MacBook Pro 16. Depending on whichever you want to use to design, you can use. But I prefer using this desktop. It's just a personal preference. So now that we have our grid set up, so let me duplicate this. You see why I'm duplicating this in a bit. So now that we have this frame set up, the next thing now is to create our grid. So I already have like a grid style that I have saved here. So let me link this so that I can see the setting I'm using for the grid. So for my grid here, I'm making use of column count of 12, which is the numbers of rows are going to be 12, the margin 56, the quarter is going to be 24. So most times your margin can change. Depending on how you want your website to look like. So but now for this design, we're just going to use margin of 56, but your quarter always remain constant. So that's something you always need to note whenever you are designing a website UI design. The count and the quarter number, which is 12 and 24, is always constant, but the margin can change. So now we have that set up. So the next thing now is for us to get our image. So image is a major thing of this design. So you can see the way the image is. So this design we're looking at is basically for a co-working office, for people to basically hire like office space, if I'm not wrong. So I think that's it. So for able to hire co-working office space and the rest. So this kind of design, you really need to like showcase the offices. So the images will have to be very, very appealing to the eye. So now the first thing now we're going to do, because this particular frame we're going to be using here, we're creating the hero section first. So you can see here the hero section. So we're calling this the hero section. I'll call this hero section. So next thing we're going to do is to get our image. So whenever I want to get image, I usually come to free pick. So I love free pick images so much. I'm not running an ad app for them, but it's just that's what I use, free pick. So I'll just come here and type okay, let me just use office space. Okay, let me just use office space images. So let's see what is going to generate for us. So FreePick also has the Figma plugin. So most times I just prefer love coming to the website. So you can see the kind of image that was used in this particular design. The office looked very minimal and it looks very aesthetically pleasing, especially for this our hero section. So while we are trying to like place a lot of emphasis on this our hero session is because this is a part that people are going to see when they come to this website for the first time. So this is like our selling point. So we have to like use a very good image here, imagery that is very, very captivating for this background image. So that's why we're going to take time. So selecting an image is also something you need to know as a UI UX design. So UI UX designer, whenever you're designing, you don't need to select anyhow images. So you need to be very, very selective. So I'm trying to type minimal office space. So let's see what to generate for us. So the idea of selecting an image should not be rushed. So I have to carefully look for an image. I love this. Just giving minimal, a bit of like space feel like there is enough space. You can stay here and breathe and do your work, looking so aesthetically pleasing the way the space was arranged. So let's see this one. There's another thing that's also coming to my mind. I want to go with something. It looks minimal, but I just wanted to have this kind of like office chairs there. So let's keep on going. Image. Let's see if we can get. Okay, so I think I've seen one. This video might likely be a bit long because this is like an explanation I'm doing. I'm giving like detailed explanation of every step I take whenever I want to come up with design. So I love this. So this is AI generated, but I still want to go with this. So I'll just download this. Let's see if I can see another alternative. Most times when I see an image, I just scroll down here to see if I can see other alternative that looks good. So I think I've seen one, which is this one. So I think I'm going with this. I love this. It is giving there's even more. You can see some down here. Very minimal, giving quietness. Okay, so let's download this. So most times whenever I've come to this kind of point when I'm seeing different images that I want, I just have to like take 3 samples, 3 different images, and I'm going to place it in the hero section to see the one that works best. Most times you have to do it that way so that you can actually like get that kind of perfect feel, because you are not just designing for it to look good, you are designing for it to also like generate a sense of emotions when a user sees it. That's another thing you need to look after. So now I've gotten my image. So now I'm back to Figma. So I'm going to bring in those 3 images. Or better still, I'll just duplicate this hero frame 3 times, then click on this, come over to the field, change it to image, and select those images. I think it's better done this way so that you can use these settings we have here: fill, crop, height, and the rest. So you see that in action. So let's just allow this to load in. Okay, so now we have our images set. So I think I love the way this is looking. So let me hide my grid so that you can have a view of how this looks. So let's just leave that for now. So the next thing now we're going to do is to create our font style that we're going to be using to know the exact sizing of font we're going to be using for the user section and for the overall design. So now I'm going to go back to Chat GPT. So let me click on this. I already have all these tabs saved on my browser because I use them all the time. So now I'm going to tell ChatGPT what I'm designing. So you just see the prompt I'm going to create. Okay, so here is the prompt. I am designing a website UI. I'm designing a website UI design for a co-office space hiring. Let me just add right. Okay, I think I should just leave it at that. So where people can basically hire an office space, please come up with a color style guide and a font style guide I can use to develop the UI design. So basically what I did is that I let ChatGPT know what I'm designing, what the website is all about. So what the website is all about, what people are going to do with the website, and what I want it to do for me. So let's press enter. So now you can see that ChatGPT is generating different colors for me that I can use, both primary, secondary, tertiary colors. And for the font style guide for the office hiring website, you can see the font styles that is coming up here, and it's giving me a list of different fonts I can use. I can use Roboto, Poppins, and where I can use them. So you can see it's also giving me some tips. So you can use this hack whenever you want to come up with style guide or color style guide for your design. So this usually helps me a lot. So here ChatGPT is saying we can use blue represents trust, professionalism and technology. Here we can use green, secondary color, neutral gray, dark gray. Let's see this dark gray. Let's see this dark gray, because this is just a simple website. I'm not going to like copy the whole colors generated to the, because most times when designing you actually need like a head start, because you have different things in your mind. How would the website look like? What color will I use? So you can use ChatGPT for that. Tell ChatGPT, oh, I'm designing a food app that solves this and this problem. Help me come up with a color style and font. ChatGPT is going to come up with fonts that suit the project. There are some projects you'll be working on. It's not all fonts you can use. It's not all colors you can use. Remember, when designing, the color you're using has to suit the project theme or the project goal. If it's a food app, blue cannot. What is blue doing in a food app? You have to use something like orange, red that triggers appetite. So it has to do with like color psychology. So that's why ChatGPT helps you to like come in place. ChatGPT can help you to like generate ideas that can help you to think and like think straight, because most times your head might be here and there when you want to come up with colors and the rest, but ChatGPT is just like a head start. So for this, let's I'll just draw a rectangle here. Why I'm drawing a rectangle is because I want to paste the color. I just want to see how the color looks like. So I'll just paste the color code here. They're saying dark gray. Okay, dark gray is still okay. They're saying accent orange, tertiary soft yellow teal. So let me see this. I don't want a color. I just want to go with a color that is kind of dark for this design. Oh, this color is cool. I love this color here. I think I'll be going with this color over here. So that's aside for color. So this is basically like a landing page, just a simple landing page. So another thing I want to do now is my font. What font style am I going to use? So let me see what ChatGPT generated here. Add a clean geometric and that's for the secondary font. Why a model sensible font? So text way boldness, regular lightness, toppings, okay, with different font weight and where to use them. Use 600. Okay, so for the heading, the photo include a core body system and small text tool. So now, so this is like a head start. So now for the heading, I'm going to make use of 46. For the nav bar, rather, I'm going to make use of 16 pixels for the font, and I'm going to use poppins. So let's type that out. So have about, space, location, and content. So let's do that quickly. I think I've already made my choice. I think I'll be going with this. So since I've made my choice, so let me just move this aside. So I'll just go ahead and type about. Remember the font we're using, poppins. So space, location, and contacts. Out. Distribution. So remember I said we're making use of 16 pixels. Just make all them 16 here. You also go with 14. So let's change all the font style to poppins. So another thing now to do is to put all of these in an auto layout. So I'm a big fan of making use of auto layout whenever you want to design. So that's another thing you're also going to be learning, how to make use of auto layout to come up with a design and make it very responsive and easy for a developer to code. So let's dive into it. So now I'm going to right click, add auto layout. So now we have this in an auto layout. Now I'm going to right click, put in auto layout. So read what I'm doing this so that anything I'm going to design, I'm going to create here is going to be very responsive. So now you can see here, I put this in auto layout. Now this horizontal padding, I'm going to fix. So how I got the 56 that I put here, this horizontal padding as I've imagined, so that any text that I put is just going to lap. Sorry, it's just going to lap on top of the page. So now, margin top and bottom. So I'm just going to make it 0 because of our nav bar text, 56. So now that we have that set, let's not forget to make it fixed width and fixed height so that it won't hog any content that we put inside. So now I'm going to place this navigation text here. So for this navigation text, so let's off our grid. So for this navigation text, I'm going to make it to fill container. So now we have it to fill container. We can move it at the center. So another thing we need to work on is the space between the navigation text. So the space between, we can make them 56. So how I'm getting my numbers is basically numbers that are divisible by 8. So we are going to make sure our navigation is like this. So you can see this is space out, this is like space out. Now there are different ways to achieve that. So for this our navigation, we'll make the height 80, make it 80. So we can also increase the So I just made it auto for the spacing. So let me show you what I did. So formerly it was 88. So because I want the spacing to just be calculated automatically by Figma, so that each of them will take their own spacing. So instead of me calculating numbers here, so you can see how auto is going to change that, because I just want it to be spaced out by itself to just fill in the container. I'll just come and click auto and everything will space out. So there's a little problem here. We want to make sure that this our text is visible. So we're going to click on this image. We're going to edit this image a bit. So there are different ways to add overlay. It's either you come to your fill, I clicked on the hero section where we added the image, add our plus to add an overlay effect. So you can see this is the color on top of the image. So if the color is below the image, the text will not be dark and the image will not be darkened, because the main goal is to make the image darkened so that our text will be visible. You can see as I move the color on top. So another way to also do it is also to edit your video. So you can just play around with the exposure like this. You can see how that looks like. So still on our navigation, so let's click on this. Let's name this Nav Bar. So the height of this our Nav Bar, we're going to make it 80. I want to make it 80, and yes, I feel this text is looking very tiny because it's regular. So we'll make this let's make it medium. So now we have our navigation set up. So let me change this. If you have any question, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. I'm always happy to reply your comments. Just add X here. Patience. So now the next thing now is to put in this our text offices. We have expected offices. So we'll just do the same here. Just type it out. I'll just add text in my own offices. So I'm going to make this text to be very big. So I want it to be very, very big. Make this scale to just scale it up. So that aside, so another thing here is find your next co-working office. So we're just going to write that down. I want to make sure this number I chose for this text is divisible. Two, I don't want any decimal number, despite the fact I use scale, so I'll just make it bold. So, so find your next working office. That text there, you can make it like a 24. Find your next offices. Make it 24. It's going to be under big text. Let's see if we should make this bigger too. Now on find and make your interior really stand out from the box. So just put our own text there. So another thing you should also know is that we can decide not to copy all the text that was written here verbatim. So we can also use Chat GPT to generate our content that will be used for this website, written content. So let me show you how to do that with Chat GPT. So we'll come back here and we'll write a prompt. So here is a prompt I entered. So this is a prompt. I am designing a UI design, or you can use coming up with whichever word. I'm designing a UI design for a co-office hire landing page. How can I structure the landing page and also provide written content for each section of the landing page? Enter. The Chat GPT is going to narrate content. So ChatGPT is going to generate content for us. You can see here for the hero section, for the future/benefits section, space, so even the testimonial section, what is going to be there, names of people we can use. So this is how I basically use ChatGPT to generate written content for my design, because nowadays nobody uses lorem ipsum anymore. So you have to come up with written content that you can use for any of your design, even if that might not be the exact content that will be used when the design is going to be developed and launched. So this is just good to just use all this kind of text to just fill in the design so that it will look real, to have that kind of real feel. So you can see here we have grab attention, communicate, so purpose, so the purpose of the hero section. So let's start over here. A well-structured landing page is a key to engaging user and drive conversation. Here is a recommended layout. So hero section, grab attention, communicate value proposition, and increase a clear call to action. So for the heading, find your perfect workspace anytime and anywhere. So subtext, flexible and available co-working space tailored to you. So we just basically use this. So we just change the one we have in. Maybe we can keep this one or change the text below. So let's just copy this. Just copy. Paste that. So we'll just make it this way. So you can see there's too much space around this text. I don't really like that. You can see the bounding box is 2. Let me just get a number that I can use 28 5 by 1. That gave us 3, 4, 2. So that's basically what I do when I want to create liners. So let's just leave it at that. So now we have our text. So you can see there's another little description box here. So I'm sorry, descriptive text under this one. I think this is the branding. So we'll just duplicate this and make this one. So let's make this one 18. So now we have our text. So the next thing we're going to do, as you can see, these two texts, they are grouped together. So mere looking at them, you know that they belong to each other. This 1, 2, 3, they all belong to one group. From the look of this, you can see that this is on its own container, this is on its own container, this is on its own container. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So before we put in the text inside our hero section, let's quickly create this filter where people can like search for different office location based on location, cities and sizes. So let's just create it with auto layout. So now for us to create that, the first thing we're going to do, we'll draw a frame. So whenever you want to make all your components be responsive, especially when creating things like this or buttons, I advise you use auto layout and frame. So you'll see how we'll be able to create this in a bit. So now I have my frame. So I think I can make this a little bit wider, but let's just leave this at 60. So make this to have a corner radius of 32. So as you can see in the other design, the edges of this is very rounded. So now the next thing we'll do is our location, size and city plus our drop down icon. So I already have a drop down icon here. So I use icon packs whenever I'm designing. So you can go to Figma community and just search for icon packs. You see different icon packs. So I'll type here location. This is going to, sorry, I don't know why that is. So location, so this is going to be 14. This text is going to be very small. I'll make it 14. So this my icon, I'll reduce the size a bit. I want the icon to be very small. Just leave it here at 12. So I'm basically going to this into an auto layout like this. So as you can see, this is in an auto layout. So the space between, just make it 8. So another thing we also need to set is the color for our text. So if you remember, the color that I said we're going to be using is this green. So this green, now you can simply create like a darkish green for this that you can use for your text. So you can create a darkish green by just moving it down. So now you have your black text dark color of this color here that you can use for your text. You can also create like the lighter shade of it in case you want to use it for the background. But since this is just like a simple landing page, this can do. So another way in which I create my color style is by using a plugin called color designer. So once you click on the color and you right click on color designer, it's going to show you like different colors depending on trends. So you can change it to shades. It can show you different shades. You can create the numbers of color palettes. You type the number of color palette you want it to generate. So in another video, I'll teach you how I make use of color designer. So for this video, we're just keeping it simple. So this is the color of black. So I'll just copy this and come and place it on my location here. Location text and icon. They will basically have the same black color. So I'll place and paste it here. This will be black. So remember, we have to change this to poppins because that's the font we said we're going to use from the onset. So here, poppins, we just duplicate this. You can keep this side by side. So nice. And just duplicate this. So this is going to be city. So before we forget, let's change this text to poppins so that we won't forget. Okay, they are already set to poppins. Okay, so that's fine. So let's go back to this design. So as you can see here, there each of these, if the best way to create this is by using auto layout. We've already created our location size and this with auto layout. So the next thing is that the container that is holding this, as you can see, there's a spacing around this. Even the sizing here, there's a spacing here, there's a spacing here before we have our button. So let's quickly create our button. This is a search now button. So let's create that. Before I'll do that so that you understand how to create that spacing around it. So here, this is search now. So this is going to be in its own auto layout because this is our button. Click auto layout. I'll just name this button. I'll give it a fill. Remember, we already set the color we'll be using, which is this. So I'm kind of having double mind about this green right now. So maybe we'll change the green later, but let's just look at that. Then first I'll change it to white. So the spacing around this button, let's make the horizontal padding to be 16, the vertical make it 8, space between 0. So now we have our button. So now, since this is already in its auto layout, we are now going to put them into their parent container. So they all share the same parent container. So remember, this is our frame. We're going to right click, put this in an auto layer so that we can define the spacing. You see how all this will come out in a bit. We'll have 16. You can place 16 up, or you can make it 8, but let's just leave it at this. Space between, let's just leave it at 0 for now. So we'll place this inside. So let's set this as fixed width and height so that it's not going to hog this content and take the size of this text. So I'll just place this here. This is my button here. So this, I'm going to make it auto because I just want it to space out. So I'm going to bring this to the center. So I'm going to make this to fill container because I just want it to fill this container. So make it to fill the container. And let's leave it as hog container as the horizontal part. Then for the vertical, it's going to fill the container. So here for this what's it called, vertical padding, let's leave it at 0 because of that line we want to put. So remember, here too also have its own auto layer, so we'll just make it fill container 2. This is also going to be fill container. This is also going to be fill container. So now we can let's see, there was a spacing in this. Okay, there was a spacing between this, so we'll just make it 0. Now let's just leave it as 50. So I think 50 is too much, so we'll reduce it to, let's see, 4. So here there has to be spacing to remove, okay, spacing between them, spacing around, make it 80. Let there be breathing space around the location, or can just make it 16. Make it 16. We'll do the same thing for this. 16 too. For this too, also make it 16. Now the next thing now is that since this is in its own container, we can add a stroke, but now the stroke is going to be customized because we just want it to only be at the left. So make it 0, make it a 0, or make it 0, because we just want the stroke to be by this side. So that's basically how they achieve that line. So we'll do the same for this the stroke in front of city. So now I'll click on this. So give this a stroke, minus 0, 0, and 0. Make it that. So this our stroke here, we're going to give it a color. Remember the color, the dark color we derived from the green. So we're just going to make it the same thing, but we're going to reduce the opacity. So you can see here it's 14, so we can make it even 10. So we'll do the same for this one too. So let's give it color, use the color opacity, sorry, make it faint here. So as you can see here, it's coming together. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to bring this closer to this image so that we can see what we are missing. We can see what we're missing. Now we have our line set. So okay, another thing we noticed that there was enough space between the location and the distance, so we increase the spacing between to 16 so there'll be enough breathing space, and we're also going to increase the size of the drop down, make it 16, make it 16. So I'll just copy this. Okay, this is already in component, so it's already adjusted orders. So I think this is like the parent component. So when you adjust this, it affects that. So if you want me to create a video on how to make use of components and create component verifier, you can let me know. So as you can see, this is quite that of the size. The length was big, so I think the same length that we have. So another thing is that I'm thinking, let's make this closer. Let's make this close a bit, and let's see. And increase the width is 104. So let's give it increase the size of this. So remember, we're making this to have like a fixed width 124 like others, and we'll make the space between to be outer. So now we have our city, we have our search bar. So the last thing now is this button. We're going to make it to, sorry, let's make this fill container, or we can make it fixed height. Let's just reduce it a bit. Let's see if we can make the height fixed. Height is currently 116. Now, let's make it 100. Sorry, I'm increasing the width instead of the height, so 44. We'll make it 56. Okay, so let's just make it 48. So So now we have our button. So this is set to hold. Let me see here. This is also I think this button is too wide. Let's just leave it like this. Okay, so this is what we have now. So it's looking more like it. So we'll make this a little bit bold, maybe medium. So I think this is okay. Another thing is to add effect to this so that it will pop up in the image. So we can do that of the effect later. So let's see. Okay, so let's just carry this to our design here. Now, so the next thing now, you can see what I said. These three, they are all in the same group. So we'll just make this regular. This is like a title. This is like a descriptive field, and this. We'll put this in the same container with auto layout. So right click, put them in auto layout. So let's name this. We'll call this filter. Filter. We'll call this filter. Space between, make it 2. I don't want the space to be too much, so we'll just make it 4. I think that is okay. So before we start placing this inside this our heroes section, we're going to put this in an auto layout. So I'll put this in an auto layout. There will be no this horizontal padding, there will be no vertical pad. I just want it to just be in its own container. There will be no space between, so it will just be like that. So you can call this one heading text. Heading text. So call this 2 or description content. So I can give it any name. So now we can now place this into our hero section. So get this, place it here. So as you can see, when we place it, it moved the navigation bar to the right. So that's because we did not set it this thing layout to be vertical. Instead it's horizontal, so we just keep it this way, horizontal. So as you can see, the nav bar is down while this text is also. We just come over here and just move it up here. Then we'll make this to fill container, then place it by the side. So we'll bring this to this content, we'll place it under this text here. Then we make it to fill container. So let's Ctrl Z. We're going to make this to have fixed width so that it won't grow with the container. So we'll now make this fill container. So if you are watching up to this point, don't forget to subscribe and like this video so that it will help YouTube to recommend this video to other viewers. So thank you so much. So here I feel we pretty have our hero section ready. So but there's a little thing we're forgetting. I kind of feel this hero section is not visible a bit, so I feel we should make it a little bit darkened so that the text can be visible, so that somebody can read the text. So here we have our text and we have our search bar. So I think here our hero section is ready. So I'm moving this upward so that the spacing under it is going to be 56. You just lap under this. That's why I did so. So let's confirm if we're leaving anything left out. So I don't think so. I don't think we're leaving anything left out. So for the image here, you can also make the image to fit. There's different way you can make the image to filter, like to make it big a bit, or you can also crop out the parts you don't want from the image. So let's just make it this. Let's make this. I think this is not giving me the feel that I want. It's cutting some. Let's just leave it at. Let's just leave it at here. The way it is. This way. So another thing now is you can play around with temperature. Around the temperature. So before we forget, let's add effects to this section, to this filter. So come down here and we'll add an effect so that it will stand out. So let's just zoom in. Now we'll see what we're doing. Make it to spread. One thing that makes effects to be very nice is when you make it to blur rather. I'll just make it 20. So I want this 10. Let me just make it 60. 30. So I feel that's pretty much it. So now whenever you're designing each section of a website, just like now we design our hero section in a frame, the next section is also going to be in its own frame. So don't just like dump things inside the main frame. So let me show you what I mean. So this is where all our sections are going to be. So this is like the main container. So we'll just name this office space landing. So here, this is where we're going to like drag. This is our section, hero section is ready, so we'll just place it here. So sorry. Place it here. So here you can see our hero section. So the same way when we want to design these other sections that shows like different spaces that I have, different space options that I have, we're also going to put it in another frame, so they are not going to be in the same frame. So once we are done designing this, we just bring it into this main frame. And now that we have this, we can click on this hero section and we're going to set it constraint to left, right, top. So why we're doing that is because, for example, most times you might want to see how this website is going to be viewed on a 1920 screen, like on a bigger screen. So because there's a screen that is bigger than 1440, I mentioned that earlier too. So I'll just go 1920, just change the size. So you can see that this design is very responsive. It's very, very responsive, because everything we did it with an auto layout. As you can see, this section just grew, even the nav bar expand. Because most times when designing, it's always good for you to like have a feel of how it will look when somebody's using it in another browser too, because most times the kind of browser or screen size rather that you are using to view your own website is different from the screen size that other people are using, and most times it's good to like have a view of how your website is going to look like. So join me in the next video where we'll learn how to design this future section or product section that shows different type of office spaces that they have. So see you in my next video. Thank you so much guys for watching.